Hello YouTube and welcome to another cast. We're hanging out over on the Twitch stream right now and we are digging through the last few matches that has occurred in the last 8 days of Marvel Rivals Ignite, and we're going to check out EMEA today, which is the European, Middle Eastern, and African continent all combined into one. And we are in their last couple of group stages that are setting up for the playoffs that will be occurring in a couple of days. Now, I wanted to familiar myself with Europe and their playstyles. Typically, in a lot of regions or different video games, you're going to see a little bit more of a macro focus when it comes to European style, and I was wondering if that was going to be similar for these players in Marvel Rivals. So, we don't really know who these folks are. Today is us getting acquainted with them and learning about their playstyles, as I have done zero research on them. So we're going to do some live analysis and go from there. We have BRRBRR Patapim, which actually I did cast a couple of these players, if I remember correctly, in a small VTuber tournament a long time ago. I think I remember Polly and PKY. And Tanuki actually looks familiar, but I don't know about Ken, Alex, and Nizzo. Either they didn't make a mark or they have different players. I'm not sure. Zero Tenacity will be on the other team here as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the draft. Right away, we're already seeing a massive disparity from America. Emma Frost isn't being banned right away. Instead, it's Magneto and Human Torch, which makes sense. They are strong characters and usually a second or third ban in America. But typically when it comes to control or slowing gauges, if that European style is here, that flavor, it would make sense why these two are banned, as they can kind of buy time and burns folks down. Ooh, is it pronounced Enzo? You might be right. Did I say Enzio? Enzo makes sense. Enzo actually sounds more familiar, Drone. Captain America is being protected, actually, as one of the first protections, and Loki makes sense here as well. So already we have a big difference between the two regions, and that's always exciting. Why? Well, one, you get different types of gameplay, but two, that means when they clash together in an actual tournament, whether it be a LAN or a future online tournament, you're going to see a massive difference in bans, and it's cool because like day one, you kind of have like the EU versus North America clash, and then on day two, they start to figure out what is actually strong, and you'll see whose meta was correct, and you start to have adaptations or new characters will pop up. It's super fun. It's why I love esports. When different continents crash into each other, just watching the storylines unfold over the span of 2 to 3 days is probably one of the coolest things about esports. You don't really get that in many other sports, right? In America, we have NFL. I guess you probably do in soccer, but I don't watch soccer because I'm a dumb American. Or is it football? So Luna Snow banned out, that makes sense. Psylocke and Loki banned out with the Luna Snow as well on the bottom side, and Magneto will be protected. So overall, we kind of got the same results in what you would protect in America, but the priority has changed a tad bit. There isn't anything too crazy standing out to me, but we will see what's going to be picked up by our players. The one major thing is that Ultron is available for both of them, and Ultron is actually kind of a main contested character in America. You have a lot of triple support compositions with Ultron being the centerpiece, starting to really help win the tournament, right? So him being available, I wonder if we'll see him banned out in the future. It is a best of 5 series. There are some plans that are starting to be formulated for that. You're having Hulk, or you're having Wolverine and Namor, or even a Psylocke trying to poke him out of the sky. There are some personal thoughts that I have about characters that could be good against Ultron. I continuously bring up Black Widow, even though I know a lot of folks think that she's really, really bad. But I do think if you're having a front-to-end type of fight and you want to take out a healer, Black Widow could be a really good option for pro teams to pick up, and I wonder if that will ever happen here in Marvel Rivals Ignite. That's the one I'm holding out for. That's my fingers crossed. Okay. We will be heading into Wakanda for our first best of 3 here. It's going to be domination as we set up, and we have a pretty clear setup on our teams right now. Getting a bunch of armor out of Penny Parker, and then we have the Loki and Mantis set up on the right here. With actually... Wait, no Star-Lord? Excuse me? Interesting. So they're running Mantis and Adam Warlock, and they do get the respawn mechanic. Usually Star-Lord is the centerpiece for that. But they did elected to go for the Punisher instead. Now, this isn't a bad thing. Their healers now have their self-reses, which means they can kind of sacrifice them they need to in the future, which is going to be something that's going to happen a lot because they have a Captain America on the opposing side, BRRBRR Patapim. But it is already a big difference in what you would go into. And I wonder if they might switch into that Star-Lord if they find that the Punisher isn't working out, but we'll keep an eye out from there. Punisher has quietly been one of the best DPSs in America, as he's just generously pretty good, and he also has really solid damage, and his ultimate when paired with Cloak and Dagger is fantastic. Now, with that being said, there is no Cloak and Dagger for Zero Tenacity. BRRBRR Patapim does lose their first Captain America, as Polly will fall, but they continue to contest the middle point, so not a big worry. In fact, they actually have a higher capture point on it, about 50%. But Zero Tenacity, with some tenacity, is able to start grabbing that back. And with the Human Torch following, as well as Doctor Strange, Zero Tenacity should be able to grab this. Hang on, though. PKY steps up and tries to use the ultimate to slow down the pressure on this. I'm not sure why he burnt that ultimate. It can be farmed up pretty quickly. Like right now, he's already at 13%, so perhaps it's like, just throw it down, see what happens. Maybe I get a kill, and then my team can swing on in. But a bit of an odd decision there. Tanuki will switch into Black Panther, which the Black Panther makes sense. You want to put a lot of pressure on this back line. You already know they have double respawn coordination, and you have a Captain America. Psylocke is usually the choice you see here. A lot of people here, but here we have Black Panther, which we did have one in America as well. And I feel like I should stop talking about America. This is Europe here. Smash pops in and goes straight up for his damage, clearing out two members of BRRBRR Patapim. Right now, Zero Tenacity looking in the driver's seat, but finally BRRBRR Patapim finds their own pick. That's gonna be a massive cat, though, as he goes in and gets a couple of picks. Nukin turns around and drops down the Adam Warlock. Oh, but look at this! Tanuki finds him! He gets grabbed by the throat, but he does not mind. A couple of picks coming for them as BRRBRR Patapim is trying to clean up the objective. They have not been able to do so, though. 50%. Curly connected here by Zero Tenacity, and they seem to be holding firm as Ducky is going to go ahead and pop her ultimate as well by Emma Frost. Not gonna lie to you, the pressure from BRRBRR Patapim is pretty solid, but Zero Tenacity is just not crumbling. They have someone always on the point, even bringing in a Mantis, using those respawns where they can, but they are starting to fall out of steam. Tanuki looking for another hunt here. Man, it is way more claustrophobic over here than I would have assumed. A lot more threatening. BRRBRR Patapim bringing in the DPS finally gets on the board. They will lose 79% to the opposing team. That means they probably can afford one major mistake into Zero Tenacity, and then they can't really make any more mistakes from there. They kind of have to play on point. Good news is Adam Warlock and Mantis should have their reses down for a bit, so BRRBRR Patapim can clearly put their foot into stone and attempt to grab this objective. 20% and climbing. Zero Tenacity elects to go for the high ground over here. They do get split a little bit, though, by BRRBRR Patapim. You see how Captain America is kind of anchoring here for Tanuki. Gives them some engagement, allows them to put them in a spot, while Zero Tenacity tries to group up and move up to the bottom right side. Here comes Tanuki from the top, jumps in, going straight for that Mantis. Once he gets low on HP, sees that there is actually going to be a massive heal from Adam Warlock, and decides to back away. The Soul Bond lasts a pretty large amount of time, and you can't really burst through it as well, but you certainly can after it's done. Ooh, Lugia Goat able to find a snipe themselves there as they come in and use the Meteor to find a pick. Immediate respawns, though, coming in from Zero Tenacity. And they will go ahead and put down the Sue Storm ultimate to try and buy time. But Smash Ned says, I'm good, bro! Puts out his left click and literally just cleans up everybody. And I like this. They're playing pretty aggressive. They're stepping up. They're trying to make sure they're in a solid spot for their objective. Decide to go ahead and back away. Let's see what's going to happen. Enzo should be bringing in a portal. There it is. Great timing on that observation. Observatory? Observing, that's the word I'm looking for. Great observing here as we catch the portal at the last time for overtime. But now BRRBRR Patapim is in a position where they need to find a couple of picks. And they are just getting shelled down here by Smash. Oh my gosh. This Punisher is completely uncontested. Paulie pops the ult. This will give him a little bit of time to bounce around and buy more time for his teammates, but he has to buy a lot of time. He had 3 fall there on his team. PKY is actually going to switch into Bucky, but I don't know if he'll make it in here in time. He's popping all of his abilities. Tanuki as well. No, Zero Tenacity easily grabbing round number 1. So interesting. Already we have a bit of a difference in how you would play that map. I do like the double respawns from Mantis and Adam Warlock. I don't know if Star-Lord would have been useful there. Honestly, Punisher was massive for the team. His ultimate is a lot stronger than Star-Lord's, harder to block as well. More consistent damage comes out. You just miss out on the respawn mechanic. But if you want to keep your DBS alive, it's one of the ways to do it. They're straight up in 3 healers: Loki, Mantis, and Adam Warlock. So fascinating. And I remember Loki can kind of feel that like damage area, right? As Loki has that attack that will explode into a sphere, doing healing and damage afterwards. So all you have to do is kind of be looking at your front line, and then occasionally give the Punisher a look to keep him alive. We'll see what BRRBRR Patapim will do. This style of aggressive play with the Black Panther and Captain America, I feel, will be better on this map because it has verticality to it. It gives Black Panther a lot of tools going. Like, he can go right up here, you see that? And then he can jump to the top right, he can put down his spears. He can put himself in a really good spot. And one of the cool things about this map, too, is if you kill those pillars on the far right, they actually become little ramps to get to the top line. Nice job by Tanuki. Finds a pick there on Adam Warlock. He can respawn. You can tell by looking at that UI in the top right corner, it'll be blacked out instead of having a counter on it, and that means that his respawn is up and available. Enzo going into Venom as well. Man, they are committing to the full dive. They are just leaving out their back line for getting poked off. They don't mind, though. Smashness trying to work on Venom and will find the shots. Dude, Smashness has really good aim. Finally, he does get picked off, though. Sue Storm's going to pop her ultimate to try and keep the team alive, but they have lost their main damage dealer. In fact, their best damage dealer here is probably Magneto or Loki. Adam Warlock trying to go for a res. Can he get it off? He's trying to, but Tanuki is trying to clear him out. Gets a couple of decent hits, but they will actually lose Ken in the process. The Soul Bond and the healing coming in from Mantis, I believe she used her ultimate, was just too much. Great coordination by Newton and Oasis. That was actually really well done. Dude, how cool is this? Already loving watching Europe. The map will now transform as there is going to be a decent amount of debris broken down. And you'll see how it kind of slams. This high ground being grabbed by BRRBRR Patapim, they run in, trying to clear out the Loki clones, get a couple of spears in. Tanuki, every time that he's able to dash through one of those spears, he'll be able to do one more. You can see him just kind of dash and using whatever he can. Oh my gosh, Adam Warlock is trying to chase him down. Magneto goes up in the sky. Who will he get? Nobody there. Looking for Torch, but Torch is able to dash up and keep him alive. PKY doing a great job of surviving here on the top side. And he's going to have to right now. Zero Tenacity continues to be on point with grabbing the objective, and boom, another shot comes out. Smash falls once more on the Punisher, but I think he did his job. He took out the opposing flyer. It shouldn't be too big of a deal here. As Zero Tenacity is just going to try and sustain through all this damage. All they have to do is not get picked off by this Black Panther, and they should be A-okay. If I were to be critical of BRRBRR Patapim, though, I don't feel like Polly and Tanuki are on the same page. A Captain America engage with like a dash into a left click into his E, which bounces the shield off, can do a decent amount of damage, and then you could have Black Panther come in and start snowballing like crazy, but they seem to be on different wavelengths when I'm watching them. Venom goes up, doing a decent amount of damage. Finally, we'll pick off Mantis. Mantis gonna get picked off again too here and not be able to respawn. So, Zero Tenacity is going to lose a little too many people, and we'll have to go ahead and reset. BRRBRR Patapim finally getting through. Okay, so this is actually a really good situation for BRRBRR Patapim. All they have to do is try to hold this high ground. Oh, wait a minute. Adam Warlock is sneaking behind. Wait, how did he get back there? What a sneaky... That's scary, dude. Adam Warlock has no mobility. He may still have his respawn, so maybe that's why he's willing to do that. But if he gets caught and gets picked off, that could be the end of the game. I'm surprised he didn't try to sneak back or even jump off the map. Okay, he gets sneaked out, but he actually 1v1s the Human Torch. Are you kidding me? Fascinating, dude. So Adam Warlock does have really good DPS and kind of can be in that Psylocke role. The thing is, he just has no mobility. But if you hit your shots, whatever, bro. And that's what he's doing there. Ducky comes in, dropping down the ultimate, trying to take over the objective, and she doesn't have to chase here. All they have to do is get this 9% on the board, and they win, right? They push him back with the ultimate. Portal coming in, but I fear it might be too late. Oh, just kidding. We are going to have Venom dive forward just in time to get that overtime. Polly jumps on through. And they're going to have to work a rabbit out of this Magic Hat, dude. This is wild. They are not in the best spot. Yeah, I don't see this going well for them. You have the DPS shooting them as they're coming out of the portal, and then you also have 3 members on that little ramp making the angles very difficult. Zero Tenacity going to take that easily 2-0 as BRRBRR Patapim is going to fall short. And welcome back to the second match in this best of 5 between BRRBRR Patapim and Zero Tenacity. You know, I was talking with my chat a little bit, and I think I believe if BRRBRR Patapim is constantly aggressive, because I already see them hovering this Black Panther once again, then it makes sense why you would play the Punisher over Star-Lord. Star-Lord is great at kind of poking, getting some decent damage in, diving forward with his E, and then coming back to his teammate after he gets a shield from Magneto. But then he has like these moments where he's a little on the weaker side, right? He can't really handle dive that well after he uses his E. So if BRRBR Patapim is known for using aggressive dive tactics, Punisher makes complete sense. He can switch to a shotgun, has mobility, has a smoke screen. He's more well equipped to handle that style. So I wonder if this is an adjustment based on BRRBR Patapim, or if this is just an EU thing. So we're going to watch and find out throughout our next couple of matches. I do believe that the Punisher is probably one of the better DPSs in the game, period, at the moment. He's just so darn versatile, and he did get a buff about, what, half a patch ago? So he could just be a complete outlier right now, right? Consistent damage, great ultimate, you're unstoppable during it, there's a lot of CC in competitive gameplay. Regardless, look at our bans right now. We do have a Psylocke protection here for BRRBR Patapim. Whereas Zero Tenacity is looking to keep Loki. And it looks like Adam Warlock again. Man, they really like Adam Warlock. Isn't that wild? Just goes to show, man, different playstyles. To be fair, the aim from Newton was impressive when he took out Human Torch. Like, in theory, Adam Warlock is good against flyers, right? He has a hit scan attack that's out pretty quick, has pretty good damage as well. But sometimes you just can't hit anything, you know? Also, some of these flyers are just zipping around, and if you're not able to hit these shots, then suddenly you're in trouble, you're getting burned out, you have no mobility. But Newton making a case for, hey man, what happens if you just hit your shots? What if you just are just better, you know? Punisher does get banned out by BRRBR Patapim this time, so they won't have to worry about that. Great adjustment by them. I am very curious to see what occurs when Zero Tenacity does not have the Punisher as an option. Do they go straight into the Star-Lord, or do they play another DPS? But so far, we do have Loki and Adam Warlock for them. PKY is going to be locking in Psylocke, and I do expect that to actually go through. Smash now is hovering Psylocke as well. Ooh. Oh, I actually love the Hulk and Psylocke combination. Yes. Okay. So we have a solid dive comp here. Venom, of course, can kind of do his own thing. He's nice and healthy. That will allow Enzo and PKY to try and harass the back line. In particular, they would love to take out Adam Warlock if they can, as he's probably the easiest target so far in the draft. All right, so game number 2. We'll be doing Convergence. Now, remember, that is going to be the domination. Oh, actually, this looks like just a pure domination map. Yeah. We're just doing domination maps here. We're chilling. So nice little best of 3 here. And we'll see how it unfolds. Okay, so they did lock in Bucky. I was wondering about that. Newton actually on Bucky. So their DPS player is the one that plays Adam Warlock? Fascinating. And it's funny they protected Adam Warlock. They actually didn't select him here, Zero Tenacity. Instead, they changed up their composition. They have Loki and Cloak and Dagger, which is more traditional. BRRBR Patapim on the other side has Cloak and Dagger and Luna Snow. Okay, some more standard healers. Tanuki intends to throw his fire on top of that high ground there. They want to try and get them knocked off as quick as they can. Get them away from that general area. Meanwhile, BRRBR Patapim is playing on the aggressive. Hulk immediately jumping straight onto the point. And look at this, just a full-out range battle for both these teams. Polly diving forward, but will get choked over there by Emma Frost and gets completely wiped. Smash now get picked off, but Polly as well. 1-for-1 trade. Newton trying to find a pick on that flyer. But as long as he backs up, that's just as good. Look at this, dude. Putting a couple of shots on the front line, throwing out an E occasionally on top of the flyer. The E actually on Bucky will knock a flyer to the ground, so it's always good to use that. And one thing that's great about Bucky as well, you'll see a lot of rotations coming in on their abilities. Every time that a Bucky uses an ability, he gets armor and he resets his 3 shots that he has on his primary fire without having to reload. So that's why you'll see a lot of Bucky players just constantly rotating their abilities, even if they don't need them. Plus, he's handsome. That's right. Bucky is a handsome fella. I mean, can you really name an ugly superhero? They're all kind of handsome in their own ways. Kind of the props of, I think just being super muscular, you know, kind of helps. Tanuki trying to play around this high ground here, but he's not going to get too much going his way. Usually he's supposed to try and soften up people, put some fire on him, and wait for his teammate to move in, and then he'll dash forward, and then attempt to fight then. See how he's moving in with Hulk going in? Great coordination between those two. Goes for a dive, looking for a pick there. Paulie got picked off once more. Paulie having a rough time right now, but that's kind of what Venom's role is before we, like, flame Paulie too much. Venom is what I would consider a self-sufficient tank in Marvel Rivals. He's able to dive into an engagement. Once he gets low on HP, he has this E ability that gives him more shields based on how much health that he loses. And sometimes they just kind of fumble that ball or take too much damage. But whenever you do fly in or use your webbing, you have an 8-second cooldown for the next web. So a lot of teams know that and will try to punish you if you're not careful. Smash able to pop the ult. We're going to have Luna Snow pop her ultimate as well, and then Oasis. Oh my gosh, what coordination there. Great headshots as well. Oasis getting cleaned up on the Cloak and Dagger ultimate. Meanwhile, Ducky just trying to hold this high ground here, getting people off wherever they can. Zero Tenacity continuing to hold down this point here. But BRRBRR is finally starting to get that meter up. They have cleared the first bar, looking for the second here relatively soon. Paulie trying to chase down that Loki, and after Loki uses a few of his abilities, he won't be able to have any escape. And PKY coming in and cleaning up BRRBRR in a prime position to go ahead and take this objective. They want to get one more kill if they can, in particular on a healer, but that Loki is playing so well. Almost frustrating. And that time that was bought by Loki and the Psylocke allows for Zero Tenacity to jump in on the portal. Will they get here in time? It's going to be close. They do. Ducky immediately attempts to slow down the aggression. Loki is still getting chased by Paulie back here. Oh, and they get the kill! Paulie! Wow, Eagle Eye vision over here. So Loki's one of these characters that you can put down a couple of clones, and if you stand still, you will look like a clone to most players, but Paulie was not able to get duped there. One thing you can look out for if you're playing against a Loki is when one clone moves, the others will move as well in the same direction, but there is a slight delay on the other clone. So the first one to move out of the three is the real one, and he was able to isolate that. It's like a half a frame second for you to be able to see that. So good eyes by Paulie. The brawlings does not stop. My god, do these guys take a break at all, dude? Do they? It is just constant punching. My god! Is this normal in Europe? Well, the aggression continues for BRRBRR. Cloak and Dagger ultimate to lead the charge here. All they have to do is hold this choke. They do have one member, I think, behind them. I think I saw someone trying to flank. It may be that Lugia, Captain America. Here comes Newton. Now here is where the shutdown could occur. Newton has the ultimate. Emma Frost starts it with Ducky. Luna Snow answers back. 12 seconds of healing incoming. Healing looking pretty solid so far. Cloak and Dagger's gonna go right on through it. Oasis trying to help at that front line. Getting relatively low on HP, but able to heal just fine. And here comes Newton. Right after Luna Snow finishes her ultimate, he's gonna use this opportunity to go for some clean hits. However, misses the second potential reset. Sometimes you pull that trigger a little bit too quick. But it is enough. They have pushed away BRRBRR for now. BRRBRR has 1 minute and 12 seconds to get on the second objective. They do have 3 important ults here. Hulk in particular will jump in and just buy a hefty amount of time. And then you have Psylocke and then Human Torch, which are going to be substantial amounts of damage. If you look over to Zero Tenacity, though, they should be able to handle this. They do have Loki's ultimate, which will be able to be used on the Cloak and Dagger. Newton getting stunned out, but I think he's going to be fine. Yeah, he's fine. He gets out. Enzo trying to lead his team forward here. Kills out a Loki clone, thinking about dashing in. Will he go for it? He does jump in. Has a shield. Paulie also leaves the charge. There's PKY right behind him. No major picks yet. Ultimates have not been used, but we are getting close to where one will have to occur. Here it is. Human Torch pops it and goes straight in for Cloak and Dagger. She will iframe out of the fight there, thanks to the use of Cloak. Meanwhile, Winnie, who is picking the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, will go ahead and put a carpet down for the team, and it's answered back immediately by Ken. He is Ken enough. And so is Paulie. Paulie coming forward, dropping the ultimate. Eye of Agamotto. Walking down the front line, is able to take out Emma Frost. Silent comes in from the side, but gets killed in the middle of using the ult. Ooh, that is painful. Poor Smash. Great pick there by BRRBRR Patapim, though. This means they will easily grab the second objective and get some points on the clock. 1 minute and a half here to finish the objective, and this is clearly the hardest part of the map. You have to go through a double choke that has multiple angles for the defense, and they're spawning right there. Oh yeah, you can grab the wall, by the way, if you're playing the Hulk. Not everyone uses that for some reason. Okay. Here we go. Hulk diving forward. Just trying to disrupt the back line. Gets a decent gamma spit. Has to fly away, but Smashness will chase him down. He pops his ultimate to survive and get that HP bar. Oasis in a great spot for healing here, while Ducky just charges down the back line, running them in, and Bruce Banner gets caught in the middle of it all. Down goes the Scientist. And now Newton gets to cook here. Trying to find a cut. He needs it. He needs a skill. He needs a skill. It's so low. He got it. Oh my gosh, that was scary. That was really scary. If for a second there, I thought perhaps there would be a switch into Cloak. And then go for the kill, but that was not what occurred there. 20 seconds for BRRBRR Patapim. Oh, clean pickoff. That actually could be huge. PKY coming around behind Hulk. Look at this tandem as they work together. Paul already on the objective. Has the Eye of Agamotto if anyone dares to step too close. Winnie is going to get picked off here for Zero Tenacity, which means BRRBRR Patapim can keep going. PKY tries to go for a shoot. Oh my gosh, they get 2 of the supports here, but they do have a long way to go. At this point, Zero Tenacity should stop brawling. Any other death as a stagger, and Lugia gets picked off. Nice read by PKY to deny him that health back. BRRBRR Patapim is, what? A little over halfway there. Portal coming out, trying to block them in. Does he do it? He sure does. So they're blocking the right side, but they can go all the way around and go on the left. There's actually multiple entrances here. That portal isn't as strong, but useful for sure to cut off one exit. Ultimate on the back line. I don't think he's going to get a kill here. Cloak and Dagger just a little bit too much. Smashness trying to buy some time. Getting some damage on top of that torch, but still taking damage themselves. Ayamago comes out, hits one target. Man, great spread here from Zero Tenacity. All on the line as Ducky holds his front line. Hoping for a heal, but able to get a Diamond Crystal off just in time to find the pick. 3 members down for Zero Tenacity, and BRRBRR Patapim is starting to sustain, but they are losing members. 2 down at the moment. Last second overtime for Smashness as he jumps on the point. Lugia can now hold. Smash gets punched in the face by a Hulk, and to be fair, most of us would fall to him if that happened. The Cloak and Dagger ult to keep the healing up here on the side. Man, this is such a brawl. Paulie even switching into Spider-Man at the last second for a faster reinforcement time. Just doing a combo over and over, punching people. Ducky attempting to pull anyone towards him that he can. BRRBRR Patapim is just bleeding health bars into here. Newton getting locked in by a couple of tornadoes in his own spawn. Dude. Jeez. What a brawl. Was there like a single reset that entire time? My golly. Just pure aggression, all gas, no brakes, dude. But I guess like that is like a good strategy, you know? The idea is you just constantly get in your opponent's face, and there's like was it Muhammad Ali? Or was it, oh god, the guy that bit off the ear? I almost said Michael Phelps, so that's not what happened. He just smoked a lot of weed. I can literally see his face. Mike Tyson, there you go. He had a quote where he was like, well, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And legitimately, that seems to be the BRRBRR Patapim way. In terms of deaths, they actually didn't die as much as Zero Tenacity. Now, to be fair, on defense, you are more than likely going to get picked off more than on offense. There is no major penalty except for giving up, like, space on death, right? It's the job of the offensive team to push your stuff in, right? So, we'll see how this changes up for Zero Tenacity. They did bleed them out for a long enough time. They went into overtime multiple times. on that push, but BRRBRR Patapim just found a way to make it happen, you know? Did you see his butt last October? Oh, I sure did. I saw the Mike Tyson butt. I think everyone did. I'm convinced he did that on purpose, but conspiracy theories aside. Okay, Lugia, go ahead and lean here on the side. I love that we're seeing Hulk more on offense. Hulk is just such a great offensive character. With his like transformation mode, going into Hulk, Bruce Banner, the shield, being able to put a gamma spin on important members, knowing when to punch and not to punch. He's just a disruptive guy, you know? Ducky finds Polly here. Picks him off pretty quickly. Dr. Strange will kind of get burned over by a Emma Frost. Not really a matchup that I favor when I'm playing Dr. Strange. And Zero Tenacity easily cleans this up. Newton gets picked off. But he will willingly take that trade to get the objective. A portal comes in at the last second, but it's a bit too late. Polly, just a half beat off. And to be quite fair, that does feel like the story a little bit for BRRBR Patapim. I don't know if they're not taking this match as seriously, or they're just constantly aggressive. You know, they're willing to go for high-risk, high-reward strategies. There is something to state that this current best of 5 that we're in is actually for seeding. Not for the money quite yet. The money will be occurring on Thursday. So they might be just like limit testing, honestly. And that might explain why we're seeing a couple of like weird plays happening, or a little bit of timing being slightly off. You know, it's all a mental game, honestly. Competitive play, in my opinion, is more important mentally to be locked in. If you don't have the endurance for it, you're going to have a rough time. And so sometimes you want to choose your battles of when you want to be locked in. Speaking of battles, Ducky dropping the ultimate, finds 1, finds 2. Gamma Burst destroying here with the Gamma Tentacles just tickling everybody down. As Zero Tenacity is just running away with this here. Geez, speaking about being locked in and mentally focused. Even adding the Namor for just a little bit more damage. Remember, that is a combination, a team up with the Hulk. Emma Frost, really eaten so far. But she is going to be falling down to her 0%, as it looks like BRRBR Patapim is going to take a slight break in this aggression. Reset and set up. They're going to have to defend this point for 5.5 minutes. Zero Tenacity is flying through the stage right now. This is a very, very fast convoy. BRRBR Patapim gonna attempt to step up and play some defense. Luna Snow pops her ultimate. Groot comes out with an ultimate. They do find 1 pick on Smash. Born Again being used. This is called a Tempo Res from Newton, as he brings back the Namor. Easy soul bombs and a couple of heals occurring. But Ducky finally falls. Newton will have his res as well. He just got picked off too. Will he decide to give it up and go back and change characters? We'll see here. He has the time to farm another Adam Warlock ult. Yeah. Adam Warlock actually has one of the largest pools to farm for an ultimate. So you kind of have to make the decision of like, all right, do I want to respawn or do I want to find a character, right? When you're playing Adam Warlock, I would say you want to give yourself about 90 seconds to farm your ultimate. If you're under a minute, I would switch to a different support. Whale on the back line. Alex almost gets picked off, but no follow-up completely. Alex was able to survive. BRRBR Patapim is holding on pretty well here now, as they have burned the time to about 4 minutes. Ducky at 100% though, and this is where they get really scary. Massive ult coming in. Dr. Strange is going to drop a portal to try and keep him alive, but they are being chased. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my golly. That was an amazing Emma Frost ultimate. Ducky able to build to 100 and lock them into a corner with the aid of their teammates. And that is going to be an easy objective push forward. Zero Tenacity probably has to win one more fight here to win. That objective is getting closer and closer. BRRBR Patapim going to attempt to move forward. They will have a Groot ultimate relatively soon here. Lugia just straight up being a menace back here, disrupting out of his mind. Flanks around the choke, gets a jump at the last second, and will de-transform, but he's still going to be in Bruce Banner form, and that is going to be an easy 2-0. Dude, Zero Tenacity, man. Setting up. Oh, excuse me. This is going to be an overtime. But they are setting up to take an easy 2-0 here and get ready for game number 3. But let's get the overtime first. Your boy's getting ahead of himself. So how does overtime work? I don't think we had overtime in my last series that I cast. Overtime is if you get to the third objective with 0 minutes or points on your side, you will get 1 full minute in overtime to get the objective, and then it remains in overtime until you are pushed off the objective or you win. If you have dominated your opponent, and in this case for Zero Tenacity, that time will be added to your 1 minute. So we have 4 minutes and 21 seconds for Zero Tenacity on offense. BRRBRR on the other side will have 1 minute. So you are rewarded for playing better in your original regular session. So, what does that mean? BRRBRR has to have an insane defense. Zero Tenacity should be able to farm 2 to 3 ultimates and have a couple of cracks of this. BRRBRR will have 1 shot. 1 opportunity, mom spaghetti, no meatballs. So here we go. We'll see how it goes. Zero Tenacity on defense first. BRRBRR on offense. Ducky and crew grab the high ground. Their aim is to try and find an early pick. Polly and crew, on the other hand, are going to go for an immediate portal. They're going straight for the back line, and they're doing this right by the health pack so they can be able to heal if they need to. They drop down a turret just in case anyone was there. They start clearing out the Loki clones that are on the top side of the high ground over here. Clearing those up reduces the healing and damage coming your way. Remember, each clone gets a shot whenever the primary Loki does shoot as well. They even have Jeff the Shark here. And Jeff the Shark honestly heals up pretty nicely. He also has a decent range for both healing and damage with a little water jet, right? So they pick him for the fast ultimate and they pick him for the fast healing. He also can get away if he gets chased down. They find a kill on Adam Warlock. BRRBRR does. They lost Enzo in the exchange, and Adam Warlock is going to be able to come back. Jeff the Shark, meanwhile, trying to stay with the team, trying to provide the heals, but Paulie taking too much, getting low on HP. They move it for the overtime. Cloak and Dagger able to pop their ultimate. Holding down the objective. Ducky goes forward and finds a healer. Gets the kill on Cloak and Dagger. Kicked her into the wall so she was not on her carpet and then chokeslammed her to death. Ducky with a massive play there for Zero Tenacity to hold the objective, and it will be just enough. Okay. So all Zero Tenacity has to do is get 1 sliver on the objective in 4.5 minutes, and they win this game. That's all they gotta do. That's it.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
And it appears they're gonna run the comp that's been working for them so far. They're sticking with the Hulk and Namor with double respawn on their healers. Man, it is so wild to me. Like, I always see Mantis, Adam Warlock, and Star-Lord together. I am impressed at how well this is working. And I want to know if this is done all the time. We're going to have to watch another series from this region, because I want to know if people are going this, or if it's just like a BRRBRR adjustment. Because BRRBRR seems to really enjoy their dive. Lugia Goat currently hovering the penny, but probably just going to shoot over a couple of shots and get everyone some armor and then switch off as usual. What region is this? This is Europe, Middle Eastern, and Africa. It's EMEA, which really rolls off the tongue. For defense, there is an adjustment from BRRBRR. They are going for Namor themselves, going for their own Hulk Gamma Rays for their hentai. Let's see if Zero Tenacity can get this pretty easily. Odds are they get this. No problemo. I actually don't know what happens in competitive play if they go into double overtime. I've never seen that before. I think in the ranked environment, you just go into a draw when that occurs. But we'll find out. The only way that happens is if BRRBRR defends for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And so far, they have already defended for 40 seconds. An immediate pick on Paulie. Poor Paulie, dude. He has had a rough one at it. Just an easy win for Zero Tenacity. They are up 2-0. Let's go to game number 3 and see how it all unfolds. Jeez, chat. This is looking like a stomp. And welcome back to game number 3 as we set up for Zero Tenacity versus BRRBRR Patapim. So far, I would say Zero Tenacity seems to be outclassing BRRBRR Patapim in this series. And I'm wondering what adjustments we're going to get in the draft screen. Emma Frost definitely seemed like a problem for the team. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and continue to allow for Emma Frost to go through. Magneto continues to be the main focus for a ban for our teams. In my mind, I wouldn't mind seeing an Adam Warlock ban just to see what happens if they want to keep running their dive style BRRBRR Patapim. They are hovering the Emma Frost ban. I think you do it. They choose for Little Snow instead, which makes me wonder if they're going to stick with support. Because if you were going to do just Mantis and Emma Frost, you would just ban it now. But they willingly changed to Luna Snow. Okay, they banned Emma Frost. So maybe they were like discussing and they're like, you know what, do Luna Snow, we know we definitely want that, and then we'll decide on the second one. Interesting. Solid ban how for Zero Tenacity. For protection so far, they have their Loki picked up and good to go. Honestly, I wouldn't mind our protect on Hulk. Their Hulk has been very impressive. They decided to go ahead and continue with the Adam Warlock, which is similar to what they did in game number 2. We will be on Yggdrasil, which is going to be a convoy map. In particular, Adam Warlock is much better on defense when you know your opponents have to push into you. You can keep kiting backwards and throwing out random shots, but you have a lot of nook and crannies to hide yourself, compared to like a domination map where you have to like go pretty far away or make sure that you've pulled the team into a different direction before you pop it. There's a Mantis ban. Okay, so BRRBRR Patapim says, alright, we're tired of it. We're going to ban Mantis. You've protected Adam Warlock. Are you going to run Adam Warlock solo? Or are you going to try with the Star-Lord? We'll see here. But a good ban. And that might... oh, hang on. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause because that was so brilliant. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this real quick. They banned Luna Snow and Emma Frost here, which allowed for the opposing team to ban Psylocke and Adam Warlock. They know in game number 2, Adam Warlock was their second protection. They could have banned Mantis here, but that means this protection would have been obsolete, and it would have given Zero Tenacity a better chance to pick a different character to protect here that would fit their next lineup instead. But by doing the Luna Snow and the Emma Frost ban here, they get their protection on Adam Warlock, and then they are able to neuter it by banning the Mantis here. That was actually a really good draft adjustment. And I was talking about banning Mantis here, but I now see why they held on. This is an out-draft strategy. Will it get them a win? I don't know. But this was very intelligent by BRRBRR Patapim. Okay. Captain America being protected. And then final ban here. They're taking a bit to think about it. I wonder if they were just like, oh, snap. That was actually a smart ban draft. Because Mantis has not been banned this entire time so far, right? So they elect to go ahead and finish out their ban here with a Magneto ban. Cool. So, Tanuki highlights the Star-Lord, which would insinuate that we might get that Adam Warlock. But if you look at the healers that are currently hovered, it is Luna Snow and Cloak and Dagger. Going over to Zero Tenacity, they still lock the Adam Warlock. Dang, dude. They really love Adam Warlock. Wow. That's fascinating, dude. I really wonder. I need to go back and look at their other matches. If you have watched other matches, please let me know in the comments below if this is a consistent thing for them. Or do they believe? Honestly, if you're able to hit headshots on Adam Warlock, I think he's almost as strong as Ultron. The thing that gives Ultron the difference is, one, he's a flyer, so less options to deal with him. And then 2, Ultron has a dash. Adam Warlock not having those caveats can be really rough, but so far Newton has showcased that he can play that character perfectly. Yeah, no Star-Lord. They are just running solo Adam Warlock. And Adam Warlock does get his respawn. Regardless of the team up, so it's kind of nice. That's just his passive. Zero Tenacity on defense. Looking over to BRRBRR Patapim. This Captain America is just running it down, getting in that back line, which is what it's supposed to do. Trying to force important cooldowns to be used to stay alive, and Loki did just that, using the Rune's Awakening. Smashnez getting some good shots, and Enzo, as he'll be deleted there, meaning that Paulie has to take over the main tank duties for now, which means he can't go harass the support on the back line. And we have a bit of a standstill here. This was going to happen whenever you have a Torch floating around. Torch has that huge circular area to dance around and drop down all that damage, so you need to deal with the Torch or kill their front line to move forward. Both options can be really rough to do. Ooh, Enzo getting it going here. 34. Wants to keep it going. Try and build up that damage on a primary fire. Meanwhile, Cloak and Daggers begin their ults. One from Cannon and one from the Loki here from Winnie. And Oasis will be able to follow it back here too when someone gets the trouble. Ooh, big stun coming in from Emma Frost. They jump in and attempt to find a target, and they do find one. As PKY gets deleted. Smashnez is just uncontested in this guy right now. There is nobody putting him down. PKY is going to be on Bucky, but decides actually to forgo his ult and moves into the Punisher. Which I gotta agree with right now. They really need to find a way to take him down. Cloak and Dagger ultimate popped. Here for Oasis. Ducky gets taken out, but there's gonna be an immediate spawn here. Dude, with them running the triple healer with Adam Warlock, they don't mind just ripping off reses to keep their tanks alive. It's all about tempo for Zero Tenacity, which I can really get behind. The tempo, however, has been flatlined as BRRBRR Patapim finally cleans up, also finds the member that was trying to get that respawn, taking out the Adam Warlock and then getting damage on Ducky. So BRRBRR Patapim is able to grab objective number 1. The PKY switch over to the Punisher seemed to really help out there. The damage just ramped up so hard. Oh, that's cute. I didn't know you can stay on that little wall there. Oh. Legendary. Iframe coming out from Cloak and Dagger. Cancel too early. Loki Rune Awakening just fine, and Cloak and Dagger perfectly ults. Tanuki will have to be forced to go to the back line here. And Win just goes in for a straight flank. I notice a lot of Cloak and Daggers do that here on EU, is they just straight up just commit to going to the back line. Man, the brawl capacity for both these teams is so impressive, but I also wonder, like, how this will do in a final tournament, you know? There's just so much brawling. Ult around the corner here. No one to really get on top to. Oh, but he finds a wide angle. Dude, he had to run halfway across the map for that. No takedown, but a ton of space grabbed just for using that Punisher ult. Luna Snow will help push it forward. Agamotto on the top side, clicking on a couple. They immediately go forward and take out PK. And Luna Snow is able to keep a couple people up, though. But remember, BRRBRR Patapim did lose one. Enzo's trying to even up the odds here by finding their own picks, but everyone's so good at getting the escape here. 2 members of Zero Tenacity scratch that. 3 members of Zero Tenacity get picked off, but here's Newton dropping down the ult once again. Oh, this could be big, though. Oh, hang on. Rune's Awakening. That needs to be picked off. Oh my god, I'd be screaming at my teammates. Please clear that. Please clear that. Please clear that. Tanuki dancing. The heals are coming. Smashnow's trying to hunt him down with a couple of tornadoes. Can't fully hit them here. And finally, they will expire as well. Dude, Tanuki's healers are keeping him alive. He needs to send them a gift after this. Something, you know, yummy. Perhaps some chocolate, I would recommend. Coming right at you. Ducky trying to play this corner, but his team just keeps falling down, dude. They might have to reset, straight up. This is where I think a reset would be really useful, you know? You have 1, maybe 2 deaths occurring, but you keep going at it. You trade for 1, but then 2 get picked off, then plus 1 more. The style is very 1 step forward, 2 steps back, you know? Cloak and Dagger ult connects, but so does the Eye of Agamotto. PKY in this corner here trying to shred anyone coming through this choke. Finds a couple of members. We do have Polly out here trying to just stay alive and get this objective. Dr. Strange up in the sky, low 1 HP, shield goes down. Nice tracking there from PKY, and is that it? Bruce Banner's trying to buy time. He stands there, and he does waste a good 10 seconds. So, a minute and a half being thrown on the objective here for 2 minutes and 2 seconds. BRRBRR Patapim trying to get around this quarter, and I'm starting to feel very similar to what we saw on Wakanda earlier. From BRRBRR Patapim. It's a complete slugfest, right? Just a death here, a kill there, a little bit of movement, but like ultimately what they're doing is moving the objective. It's a slow, steady climb, but they do burn a lot of time, and that seems to be what Zero Tenacity is doing here. Their strategy isn't really, hey, we need to outslay them, hey, we need to have a better comp. All we need to do is slow them down and have a clutch defense at the end. Can they do it here? 1 minute and a half set up. Agamotto over the side here for Ducky. Doesn't really connect with anyone important. Meanwhile, Cloak and Dagger getting the ult, and Tanuki's able to chase down. He goes in the sky, goes for any more, finds 1, 2 picked off, Zero Tenacity. Starting to struggle a little bit, and now would be a great time to regroup, and they consider it. Their tanks are already back, healing up. They have a Hulk that is actually currently flanking at the moment, and they have a current pincher maneuver set up. 4 coming out of the main objective and 2 behind them. Dr. Strange will start the engage. Canuck just trying to get out of his spawn here. Tanuki begins, and look at this. Punisher goes straight for the shots. Tries to get him, but great movement by Tanuki to stay alive. Punisher on Punisher action. You don't normally get that free on websites, but you're welcome here. 1's picked off. Maybe a second. 2, 3, and 4. BRRBRR Patapim now has to deal with the Hulk. The Hulk can buy some time, but this is where the Punisher is actually one of the better DPSs. He moves straight to a shotgun, and look at that. Just cooks him. And BRRBRR Patapim grab a 3-0 with 20 seconds on the objective left over. So now we get a feel for how Zero Tenacity did in the last convoy map, which is they got the objective with like 3.5 minutes left over. If BRRBRR Patapim can kind of condense that and hold better here, we can see this going into a further match. And now you're getting to a point where, hey, it's a best of 5. Where's the endurance? Can you keep up with the speed? The BRRBRR Patapim style, I know this is gonna sound weird, but like I used to play with a team in Twitch Rivals, and I was playing with a bunch of like younger kids. They were like 8, 9 years younger than me, right? I'm a grandpa now in esports, if you will. And they kept yelling the phrase, ape 'em, ape 'em, ape 'em. And the idea was that you turn off your human brain and you go full monkey brain and you just dive them over and over again. And that chaos creates a familiarity that you get used to, where you can slowly mentally drain your opponents. And that type of style can be good in a best of 5 series. And I'm wondering if that's a style that BRRBRR Patapim is going for. Full ape 'em, right? We'll see here. Zero Tenacity right now seems to have the tenacity to hold off against that, but we'll see though. I forgot about ape 'em, my god. Yeah, literally that was the commentary. Like, I'm a guy in comms where I'm like, hey, objective's coming up, let's count this down, 9, 8, 3, 4, 5, and dropping numbers, and they're just like, ape 'em, ape 'em. And, you know, there's different styles for different things. But now is the moment to see if Zero Tenacity can dig deep and finish us off strong. They have switched into an Iron Man from Newton, as well as moving into Ultron, the other triple healer. So they've gotten rid of their Adam Warlock, and instead are looking to laser some folks down. The laser is actually pretty solid against Star-Lord. Pretty easy to track, especially if you have the right crosshair. You kind of want to aim a little bit to the right, but once you do, it's a pretty big hitbox. PKY setting up for the Punisher, and this is one of the best things you can do with the Punisher. Just delete all the shields or anything in the direction and take them out. There we go. Ducky picked off, all is good in the hood. Zero Tenacity resetting, and so far BRRBRR Patapim has held them down for almost a minute now. Look at these shots, dude. Just trying to splash damage anything they can. Okay, with everyone resetting, they can move forward. Newton is about to have an ultimate, and I am curious to see how Zero Tenacity is going to get this ultimate off. Iron Man ult is one of the strongest ults in the game, but it's also one of the biggest, so it's one of the easiest to block, right? You can put a lot of portals in the way, and if you look at our BRRBRR Patapim, they have a couple of options for that. They have Captain America, which is admittedly harder. You could technically iframe through it with Star-Lord, and then you also have Emma Frost. Newton steps up, goes for the shot, and can't quite hit it. So this is actually a style that was made popular in the Philippines, believe it or not. What you would do is you would get into close range with the Iron Man ultimate, and then you would pop it, and that way it wouldn't have any travel time, so it couldn't be blocked. It does require incredibly close coordination between your healers. That's funny. Delaying Lugia over there. Wait, what's Loki doing back there? What the hell? Bro, what are you doing back there? Oh, okay, they're respawning, that's fine. It requires incredible coordination because you have to keep the Iron Man alive during it, but if you dive straight into the fight and then drop your ultimate and smash it into the ground, you can usually take out any healer in the game that is currently in their ult phase because you have enough DPS for it. And so that's what he was trying to do there. The first time I saw it, I thought they were crazy, but then it started to make sense. It looks like it did not work out here though, and BRRBRR Patapim was ready for it, and BRRBRR Patapim was actually in that VTuber tournament that I saw them do it in, so they were actually fully aware of what Iron Man can do. Kind of crazy how that all works out, huh? Newton instead has switched over to the Punisher. And so far, I'm not going to lie to you, BRRBRR Patapim is holding on miraculously and almost in a genius way right now. They're slowing down their fight. They're not playing super aggro anymore. And all they're trying to do is slow down the aggression of their opponents. Big Whale does come out as well as an Agamotto. 2 people are going to be picked, 3 here as well. And now Paulie is like, all right, here's my job. I'm going to run back and forth. I have no intention of doing damage. I'm going to use my ultimate to buy time for my entire team. And look at that. He bought enough time for his entire team to respawn, and Enzo has switched into Doctor Strange. So now it comes down to portals. Portals are already being activated. They're going to drop in here, and they do have a couple of ultimates they can utilize. They have Tanuki on Star-Lord and then Cloak and Dagger. Tanuki also flying over here with Paulie to try and come up with a different off angle, right? They're just trying to slow it down. They have time. Time is in their hands. 18 seconds. Oh, Tanuki gets caught, though! That was a massive L there for BRRBRR Patapim. Overtime does about hit here for Zero Tenacity. Do they have enough? Luna Snow trying to slow it? Okay, so they force the overtime at least. Paulie comes in, delay on delay action, and we are back to full BRRBRR Patapim, man. Must stop it at all costs. So Zero Tenacity for grabbing their first point will get 2.5. Just barely there. BRRBRR Patapim within an interesting strategy of trying to move in and stop the point. I think the idea was, all right, here's our portal right in front of the opposing convoy. What we'll do is allow for Tanuki and Paulie to come around the side and try to find a pick. And then if we take any damage, we can step back and heal with our defensive advantage and then jump to the portal. Sadly, that's not how it went down. Ooh, looks like we got a bit of a pause here. Let's see what's going on. Ah! Here we go. I think we're about to hop back in. And we do. Let's try and get caught up real quickly. Back on defense. Smash gets picked off. PKY with the Punisher ultimate does step up, and I think he's going to push everyone back here pretty well. So, BRRBRR Patapim is going to need 1 more, maybe 2 more really good defenses. I'm going to say 2 more. They don't have any ultimates though, so they need to dodge out on Zero Tenacity's Wombo combo that they showcase, which is Ducky moving in with the Eye of Agamotto into a whale. Cloak and Dagger builds an entire full room of area for Zero Tenacity to push through. What a great use of that ult. They should get them up here pretty well. And now BRRBRR Patapim has all 6 members up. 1 minute and counting. Ultimate still available for Zero Tenacity. They only used 1 there as Winnie was using that Cloak and Dagger ultimate, but Oasis is about to have that up and no issue, right? And the cool thing about Loki is he built his ult so fast. Oh my god. That Eye of Agamotto hit 4 people, I think 5, and the whale came in. Free Willy! The sequel. Wait, wasn't there a Free Willy sequel? I can't say that, can I? Free Willy 4? Is that what I say? Lugia Go already here to try and choke them out. 2 more minutes game for Zero Tenacity, just clutching through. Best they can here. Smashnez and Hulk. This is actually becoming a more common strategy. I'm surprised people are still getting surprised by it. You take Hulk on the far... Oh, yeah. Tanuki was like, yeah, I know this is here. But he didn't know Lugia was there and he gets punched in the back of the head. That shit hurts, bro. I don't know about you guys, but every time I get punched in the head, it hurts. It hurts, bro. I'm not a fan of getting punched in the face. I am a fan of getting choked, though. Emma Frost comes in, chokes him hard. I'm just kidding. I was just commentating, bro. Tanuki comes in and brings a little bit of damage. And BRRBRBR Patapim is able to clean up pretty quickly there. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Tanuki getting punched in the head, that was rough. But BRRBRR Patapim was like, yo, you gonna beat up my boy? And they showed up for him, you know? I want friends like BRRBRR Patapim's got, you know? If I get attacked somewhere, I want someone to protect me. It's not that I want to be white knighted. I just want to know that I got boys, you know? Zero Tenacity has 50 seconds here to push. 1 ultimate. It's time to lock in. BRRBR Patapim in a great spot in terms of objective control, as well as economy control. Emma Frost stepping forward here, attempting to lock down a few around the corner, but they have to be careful because of the Punisher for Newton already set up on the objective. Hulk moves forward to create a little bit of space here and does find a decent amount, but the Hulk gets melted to pieces. And I like how PKY says, all right, guys, you finish off the Hulk. I'm going to turn around and work on these guys. Bruce Banner is one of the weakest characters in the game, and even if you leave him uncontested, he is going to do nothing to your team except maybe throw a plasma grenade out that bounces you around. Feel free to leave him and work on the other team. That's what BRRBR Patapim did just there. BRRBR Patapim on the cusp right now of being able to grab a score in this best of 5 series and be able to go into game number 4, keeping the series alive. Can they do it? We do have Lugia stepping forward on the Hulk. He'll be able to get the objective control. Meanwhile, Newton coming around the corner. He's starting to mow down people where he get no way. Is BRRBR Patapim throwing this game? There's no effing way. I don't believe it. I do not. This can't be real. Newton clutches it forward. Lugia with the Hulk. He jumps on top of the turret and begins shooting away at his opponents. Captain America coming in for a flank. We didn't care about him too much. Not too much damage, especially if he has healers with him. They are stuck in a choke here as there is just hellfire raining down. Meanwhile, Ducky's floating above. He has an ult. He comes down. He hits a couple of members. Luna Snow, the whale connects. No way. Zero Tenacity wins this. Another pick once again. BRRBR Patapim is relying on Luna Snow and her dance moves. I'm Luna Snow. She gets picked off and will be destroyed as well. And somehow, some way, Zero Tenacity is going to be able to tie the series 3-3. What the? That's crazy. Wow. Dude. That is the definition of an overextension. That's what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. And the thing is, they only took a nibble. It was only a slight nibble, dude, of overextension by BRRBR Patapim, but it was enough. The Hulk was able to sneak on by, grab the objective control. Zero Tenacity came flying out the doors with their ultimates and were able to take it away. Nutty, dude. Nutty. I can't believe that. Wow. Well, now, we are in overtime. Both teams are relatively low on time, so it's kind of a one-shot, one opportunity. No spaghetti, meatballs, something, something, something. I think it's one of my favorite songs from NSYNC. As we set up for this final engagement on this map. In terms of time, I do believe BRRBR Patapim will have just a smidgen more than their opponents, and honestly, a smidgen of 30 seconds can be the difference between 1 or 2 ultimates, right? Here we go. On offense, it will be Zero Tenacity. On defense, BRRBR Patapim. 1 full minute for Zero Tenacity, 1 minute and 21 seconds for BRRBR when they're on offense. Nice strategy for Zero Tenacity. They all flood to the left here in an attempt to try and take out Captain America. Sometimes if you flank the flanker becomes flanked. You know what I'm saying? PKY setting up for a couple of shots. His job right now is put damage on people and not die. Oasis didn't get that memo though, as Oasis gets picked off trying to iframe out. 26 seconds and counting, and Enzo is at a full stack on Emma Frost. This is terrifying. They're not picking off the Loki clone. Oh, this is so smart. This is so smart. That is so smart. They didn't pick off the Loki clone, so they can keep her at a 100 stacks for the next fight. Because it will expire relatively quickly, and all you have to do is tap it every few seconds to keep it up. Emma Frost keeping that firepower going. With full stacks, should be able to hold that front line no problem. Paulie goes in for the back line. Makes Newton pull out his shotgun. Couple of shots come his way, but he's got that shield. No problemo. Whale up in the air here as Namor has to pop the bubble. Cloak and Dagger will start to charge forward, and all BRRBRR Patapim has to do is not die here and wait out the ultimates. However, they're trying to do a little bit more than that. They're pushing in. They're trying to find the kill on Cloak and Dagger, which could be a little bit threatening. Eye of Agamotto coming out, getting a couple of lockdowns on a few members, and they're actually going to be able to find a pick on Tanuki. Tanuki being lost there means that Zero Tenacity is now in a 6v5. The objective overtime is still pretty large in the bar. Oh, big whale coming out and landing a belly flop on top of that back line, and BRRBRR Patapim has failed the defense right now. Zero Tenacity is able to keep leading forward. Now, for the payload, the most you can have on it is 4 people at a time for maximum speed. So typically you will sit a front tank to go ahead and move over and try to block any engagements coming their way, and maybe 1 damage dealer. BRRBRR Patapim moving straight on in. I'm going to drop the teleport right on top of the objective. Dude, this Punisher is destroying. This Punisher is so uncontested. This is so crazy. Look at this. No one looking at him. Just completely getting melted. There's also a couple of tentacles on the back line as well that are burning their gamma damage. The Hulk goes through to buy some time as Lugia was told to go disrupt them, and they do. Lugia went back there and kept the supports behind on the portal, which allowed for the rest of Zero Tenacity to keep moving forward. Now, at this point, if anybody gets off of this objective, if there is no one on the team of blue on this objective, it will be an immediate round ender. Tanuki steps up, gets some scouting eyes on their opponents, probably shouts it out to his teammates. Hulk on the top line, waiting for some big heals. Curtain heal coming in. Tentacles going down. Here we go. Massive ult from Cruton. Milton whoever he can. There has to be complete coordination from Zero Tenacity. Someone must always be on the point. Star-Lord in position to try and flank the back line. If he could find a kill to whoever's on there, he could take it, but a Cloak and Dagger ultimate answers back. BRRBR Patapim moving in, goes for an Eye of Agamotto. The Eye of Agamotto does land and actually hits on Enzo and Alex. BRRBR Patapim keeping up the pressure. Namor also getting picked off. Zero Tenacity has 2 people currently standing here. Ducky falls as well, and the last will be the Hulk, who's not even near the point, and BRRBR Patapim finally holds on. But can they score a 1.5 to beat Zero Tenacity? They only have 21 more seconds than their opponent. So that 21 seconds, man, it can be the difference. In terms of compositions, we should keep an eye on BRRBR Patapim. It's all on them. They're holding Star-Lord, Emma Frost, Punisher, Captain America currently hovered, and both of what would be considered the best all-around healers, Luna Snow and Cloak and Dagger. Looking over to Zero Tenacity, their defense does not seem to be changing too much. They still have Loki. They have Cloak and Dagger, so they can focus the target with good comms. Lugia, who in my opinion has been stellar on the Hulk, will remain on the Hulk. His job will be to delay as much time as he can. And we have Newton. No Adam Warlock, but staying on the Punisher. So, similar to the strategy that we saw from BRRBR Patapim in the last match, Zero Tenacity is not going to come out swinging. Their hope is to delay their opponent as long as they can. One thing they also have to consider is they can't overextend or overcommit to a fight. Because BRRBR Patapim could try to portal in, just like we saw from Zero Tenacity. Here we go. Newton starts to fire away. Ideal target to hit. That was a crazy snowball, by the way. Flying across the map. A healer going down is the recipe for winning on both sides. Healers are the foundation of compositions. If you find one pick, you are good to go in these scenarios. And that pick does come in. Smash will be picked off from BRRBRR Patapim. Luckily, it's just a Namor. Just like in the comments, everyone's like, whatever about Namor. He'll be back eventually to do whatever he does in the future. That deity life. BRRBRR Patapim finds a great angle and is trying to mow down all the Loki clones. Ooh, did they get a healer? They did. Winnie has been taken out. PKY trying to hunt down Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange went in and tried to go out for a quick trade, but you don't want to waste too much time, right? You don't want to stagger. BRRBRR Patapim has 25 more seconds on the clock. Already setting up for the first objective. And if you look over to Zero Tenacity, they have not committed to a portal yet. Holding the portal. Probably going to try and do it on the next reinforcement. They want to make sure they're in overtime, right? 5 seconds of counting that overtime is going to connect. Newton holding this high ground. Jumps down to help his teammates. Once again on this left side where he has control. There we go. Perfect peekability between both of the DBSs. Star-Lord diving in. Gets low on HP, but Cloak and Dagger's coming for the heals. Newton pops his own ultimate. Unleashes a barrage of damage. Actually puts himself in a corner because he can't get a kill here, so he wants to make sure he doesn't get picked off. He's getting low on HP, but luckily the healer's there just in time. Oasis being able to pop her ultimate. PKY finds a shock into the face. It's going to be one pick. But a huge Agamotto on the back line going for Luna Snow, but they don't have the damage. They can't find the pick. Tanuki going in as well. Get on top of the high ground. BRRBRR Patapim is cooking right now. And now Ducky needs to die. He needs to die so he can portal. He's going to die, and he's back in 10 seconds. Lugia, the one hope for Zero Tenacity to hold us back. Can BRRBRR Patapim get in a position here to win? They're so close. You can literally see it on the screen. Oasis actually switched into Doctor Strange because they needed a portal. Lugia disconnected? Excuse me? What? We are going to game number 4. I'll see you there. I didn't expect the brawling from the region. Neither did I. But I do think BRRBRR Patapim's from the Philippines. Welcome to game number 4. After a... I don't want to say anticlimactic. After I disconnect, to be quite frank with you, around number 3, I don't know what happened there. It may have been an authentic crash, but I think it's funnier if Lugia was like, bro, I'll just be in round 4. I'm going to the restroom. We are now in game 4. BRRBRR Patapim has fought back, and I gotta echo the sentiment that I had in my chat about the brawling in this game has been so wildly unexpected, but welcomed. I do think there is a lot of strategy and chaos if you can kind of rein it in, and BRRBRR Patapim seems to really connect with that type of chaos, right? So, let's hop into our bans right now. Magneto ban, and I can clearly see why we have a lot of Magneto bans. The way that this region seems to enjoy using Cloak and Dagger is they use her as a backline assassin. So she sets up a line of sight, and she dashes 3 or 4 times, goes straight to the back line, turns into cloak form, and then we'll go ahead and start doing DPS, and then right-click into her team. And that causes a lot of issues. Now, one of the best ways to stop a Cloak and Dagger from high-level gameplay is to play Magneto, grab your big meatball, and then bop them when they're moving on their trajectory, because they can't stop their trajectory at all. So both teams just get rid of Magneto so they can play Cloak and Dagger the way they want to, which has been fascinating to watch, right? And I think that kind of leads into this whole, like, brawly type of style that we're getting. So fascinating, man. Well then. Our bans are flowing through, and they're looking pretty similar here. Another Mantis ban coming in from BRRBRR Patapim. They really want to stay away from that Adam Warlock and Mantis composition. The double respawn was just good enough for Zero Tenacity to really beat them in a majority of team fights. And one of the things about Zero Tenacity when they are playing the Adam Warlock and Mantis respawn composition is they usually get a massive lead on the objective, right? About 60 to 70%, and that's kind of hard to come back from. Even when you do cycle through your opponent and you get to use their respawns and you're picking them off, and then you're getting through the tempo phase, like, it's a lot to chew through, you know?
Right heroes could make all the difference.
So I can see why they continue to ban it away. No major crazy bans as well from Zero Tenacity. It's just going to be Mantis, Emma Frost actually, Luda Snow, and then Magneto. So no Emma Frost this time for BRRBRR Patapim. Oh, excuse me, am I reading this incorrectly? No Luna Emma Frost for Zero Tenacity. There we go. Gosh, the colors, they mix me up way too much here, man. And they are going to have an Emma Frost on BRRBRR Patapim. Paulie got it once again. So, we're going into map number 4, Rocco, which is our big industrial machine map. I don't know if I'm coming around on this map. Like, I've seen 6-7 matches on it now. And I gotta say, there have been really exciting matches. And I don't think the map layout is really an issue for me. It's mostly the color scheme, because everything looks the same, so I'm having a hard time getting my brain wrapped around it. But I gotta play more maps. But it seems like most teams are starting to figure out how to play around objective number 1. And I think the reason why objective 1 is usually so difficult to get out of is you come out of the initial... Oh my gosh, they're just gonna run it down. Oh my gosh, they're just run... Oh my... That's one way to come out. Oh my god, BRRBRR Patapim. I'm gonna... You know what? I'm just here for the ride. This is a nice ride. You know, I'm used to being in a minivan that slowly goes forward. It's got room for all my friends. And BRRBRR Patapim, they drive a Ferrari, dude. And they put diesel gas in it, and they just run it down. And look at the space they created, to be quite frank with you. They literally aped them, dude. All 6 of them came out and ran down one hallway and had their guns ablazing. You ever see Looney Tunes? There's that sheriff dude with like the double guns. that's the vibe I just got from that. And Zero Tenacity was ready for it, actually. They kited backwards and did their own shots. What a fascinating style. BRRBRR Patapim now in a position here for attack. We're gonna have Winnie pop the ultimate and kind of just did like a little bit of a rectangle, and BRRBRR Patapim just kind of has to wait this out, right? They don't really need to deal with that. Okay, now they go. Here comes Storm. Paulie going forward. Needs to force out the other support war if they can. Oh! Wow! Newton! Newton! Oh my god, Newton! I love this guy. Oh my god. What? Okay, let me rewind that in my brain. Storm ults. Storm goes for back line. Storm looking for healer. Healer pops Rune Awakening. Rune Awakening negates Storm ult. Newton says, haha, I got you, checkmate. Pops his ultimate, and they all shoot Storm the moment she comes out into her tornado mode. He gets the instant reset and wipes them. You know how, I'm gonna say it, how many balls you need for that? A hefty amount. I'm talking like truck size. That was such a call out, dude. They were like, don't try that again. And if you look over to BRRBRR Patapim, they're not gonna try it again. They just got rid of Storm. They said, okay, Storm ain't gonna work here. Wow. What a defense here from Zero Tenacity. BRRBRR Patapim, though, however, is starting to get some aggression on the map. Starting to push forward. You see Zero Tenacity pulling back to their original spawn point, waiting for their teammates to pop up. Big stun on top of Newton, and the Hulk was delivering a massive punch to his face. Enzo just going in, dude. I am so inspired right now. Oh my god, I want to play Marvel Rivals. I want to punch things. PKY on a flank. Look at that. So Psylocke is one of the best in the business at picking off people that are reinforcing. Tried to get there on top of Newton, but he'll get healed up. Zero Tenacity continues to hold his corner, but BRRBRR Patapim is very close to the objective. They're pushing, they're getting closer and closer, but Zero Tenacity is holding for the moment. PKY wants to change that up, comes in with the dance of butterflies and finds a couple of picks. Is it going to be enough? It should be. Lugia trying to hold it. Wait, they're 0.48 meters away. No way. They are so close to getting this. Am I crazy? They're like right there. Dude, they're right there. Someone needs to blow on that thing. Paulie running it down, getting the damage in. Polly leading the charge for BRRBRR Patapim. They want that half inch. If I had a double every time I heard of that. Smash Naz keeping up with the damage. Goes for a couple of headshots. The Gamma Burst helping out with the tentacles from behind. Here comes Newton on Iron Man. 47%. Holding what he can, but look at the 100% for Polly. Polly in a dangerous spot for the opposing team. Newton trying to step up and get some damage in, but when Iron Man takes any damage whatsoever, he has to run away, and he does just that. Polly was cooking there for BRRBR Patapim, and they finally get the objective and be awarded to with 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Bro, I don't know if I have the stamina to cast this region. My God. I don't think they've ever heard of like a break, bro. There is no slow down. There is only go, go. I bet they don't have a do not pass go on Monopoly. Region Pacific rules, dude. Zero Tenacity begins their defense. They do need to get down this hallway. Now remember, this is a tall vertical hallway. You'll need flyers in most scenarios here, or at least in a lot of regions they switch to flyers. There is no flyers in this match, actually. The only flyer is Mr. Wolverine here. Actually, the first one of this entire session, to be quite frank with you, and that will help out a lot against the Hulk. That percent damage. Newton looking for his resets, but Polly is on something right now. Polly is so locked in. Grabs Bucky by the throat, tosses him on the ground. Meanwhile, Zero Tenacity says, okay, we have to go ahead and go forward. Winnie pops the ultimate, and BRRBR Patapim is going to lose Polly. Losing their Vanguard's probably going to slow them down a little bit, but if you look behind them, Tanuki and Enzo are actually attempting to set up a flank for later on. Whoo! Newton continuing to hold his top line. This is a great spot for Bucky to build up his ultimate. Oh, that was a Polly ultimate. Got interrupted by Newton. Nice job, dude. Man, Newton is quietly like a really strong player. Really strong player. Come on, kid! Keep Polly alive! And he does. Good healing. Hulk comes in from behind. Lugia's chance here to make a splash. Or a smash, if you will. Finally gets put to the corner, but he did delay for a large portion of time. There is a decent amount of time that BRRBR Patapim has to go to get the second objective. Newton starting up the portal. Groot trying to get on through. It is currently being blocked, but they're able to get on in there. Ducky has a massive Groot ultimate. Needs to find a target. Oh! 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 Snap! Tanuki cancels that out with an ultimate, and Ducky wasn't able to do anything. He was CC'd for the entire duration. And BRRBR Patapim continues to aim him. I need a monkey soundboard, dude. This is amazing. Why human brain when monkey brain work? Go, 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 go. BRRBR Patapim gets objective number 2. Zero Tenacity. Setting up for the defense here for round number 3. 1 minute and 20 seconds awarded to BRRBR Patapim. Enzo and crew hiding around the corner here, waiting to drop on their opponents. Nice little trap. Jumps forward, goes for the healer. Ruin Awakening pops out. Great couple of punches and then jumps away. Enzo does have ultimate, so he doesn't mind being aggressive. Winnie, meanwhile, going straight to the objective to hold it down. And it's time for Bucky to cook. One again. A potential second coming, even hit the shot. A third. A fourth. A fifth. A sixth. He's done it. Newton has shut down the entire team of BRRBR Patapim. Goes for the high ground here. Waiting for them to come out. They have to go through this choke and go underneath it and then get to the other side in order to win. BRRBR Patapim only has 30 seconds to function. They do have one more ult from Tanuki, and the last one was darn near impressive. Why did I say darn near? It was impressive. Game-changing is probably the word I want to use. Newton taking on the Hulk solo. It did not go well for him. When Hulk goes big, you no touch. That's the rule book of facing the Hulk. Write it down. It's important. BRRBR Patapim cleans up easily off the back of Enzo on the Hulk. But they are in overtime, and they do have to make it across this room here. Zero Tenacity will have one more defense. They have a Hulk of their own. Ducky at 70% ultimate and an Oasis as well. Ducky will be the one that really sets us up. Him and Newton. Keep an eye on their ult bars in the top left corner. Lugia will buy time until then with the help of his healers. There we go. Lugia jumps in. Massive Groot ult. It's Bucky time. Massive whale time as well. It connects. Hitting a couple of members. No major kills though. Only 2 have gone down. I thought it'd be a lot worse. Hulk taking some damage. He didn't get the reset, it looks like. And here comes the Wolverine. The angry Canadian able to set it up, and BRRBRR Patapim gets close, but no cigar. Zero Tenacity will have a chance to close this series by getting 3 points on the board, but can they get as far as BRRBRR Patapim? It's time to find out.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Are we casting for the YouTube? We sure are. I'm gonna try to do a series every day. It seems like people enjoy the casting, and I enjoy doing it. So it's a perfect marriage and harmony, especially after playing StarCraft all morning. My fingers hurt from StarCraft. Well, Zero Tenacity will be on attack this time. I really want to get in comms and ranked and be like, hey guys, let's just run it down the hallway like BRRBRR Patapim. And I wonder if people will get that reference. I like the Doom Groot animations. Oh yeah, the animations are top tier in this game. Listen, there's a lot of hatred around this game lately because it's a team game that requires teamwork and humans suck ass, you know? It is what it is. And I hope that these people that are angry or complaining on Reddit about balance or their teammates or matchmaking, no, you have fair criticisms, but like at the same time, this is a really good game. It's beautiful, it's fun to play. I guarantee you half the people that are angry, if they look at their time played, they're around 300 to 400 hours, you know? Which is a good sign. I know I've got my money's worth. Some people need to chill, bruh. And just enjoy the scenery as we play in a giant computer. Not the most scenic of routes. There aren't very many trees here. Newton gets a Vic on PKY. BRRBRR Patapim will have to back up here or they risk the potential of being snowballed on. I have decided that I am a Newton fan. Currently, my favorite players between these matchups have been Newton and probably Enzo, if I had to pick one from each team. Good damage so far. Smashnet just getting those tentacles down. Oh, but PKY was tired of that shit. Comes flying in. Left click, right click, left click, shift. You're dead. That's the combo. Popping off and wearing the Gooner skin. That's the life of PKY. Here comes the reset time. Right on the ground. Looking for a target. They're trying to focus and call it out, but the healing might be a bit too much here. Yeah, Pauly's able to get on through it. No reset here for Newton, but able to grab the objective. Dude, Groot is so loud while he's walking. Goof, goof, goof. Zero Tenacity did this really quickly. 2.5 minutes on the timer. They did get to within a half a what meter here? Similar to BRRBRR Patapim. Honestly, here's the difference between these two teams. Zero Tenacity seems to really enjoy team wipes and are very effective at them. And BRRBRR Patapim really doesn't enjoy being alive, but they weaponize it. And it's such a treat to watch. BRRBRR Patapim has no regards for the health bars until they need to clutch it out. Until then, it's like, whatever, man. If we wipe them, we wipe them. If not, we're getting ults, we're building up, we're setting up, we're finding their tendencies, and we're going to punish them. I'd love to talk to these players and, like, get an idea of their mindset, you know? I need to go to a LAN, have a couple of drinks, and talk to these fellas about what they think about the game. Because their playstyles and what I'm seeing is so fascinating. Enzo is just in there. Newton finally getting picked off. Resets are going to be lost out in here. Tanuki able to clean up. Gets a total of 4 kills right here. Gets a Groot as well. Just a complete swing in the opposite direction. There were a few ultimates used for it. Tanuki was able to hold on to his. Zero Tenacity, meanwhile, is building up a few ultimates. They have 3 on deck, a 4th about to be built up. And a Loki will be there with him soon. I am still surprised at the lack of flyers in this area of the map. There's such high ceilings. One thing they are doing really well, though, is they are putting these tentacles up in a high area, which is making it easier for them to push forward. Tanuki goes for a pick, will find a Groot, and he will be taken out quickly. Ducky and Newton, actually. Cloak and Dagger just being ran down, taken out of her own healing. Tanuki, man. Listen, I don't want to, like, come off as flame, but where was this earlier, bro? Because your Star-Lord was not doing this. My gosh. Tanuki is eating on the werewolf, or the Wolverine. One of the things that he's doing quite well is displacing the opponent in positions where they're not getting healing, right? So he can make the decision to focus them down, or, of course, get out of the fight and make sure they don't get value out of it. Alex goes for the back line, doing that Cloak and Dagger assassin. That's becoming so prevalent. Paulie with a couple of diamonds, 3 diamonds here. Able to find a couple of teammates, but no major kills yet. That's the job for PKY as he steps forward and gets 1, gets 2. Loki down, Ducky down as well. Oasis trying to escape with 70% on their health bar. Think they might be able to get out of here, but BRRBRR Patapim holds for now. Zero Tenacity. In a position here where they have to make it through the second objective and about 80% through the third objective. Or they lose this game and we go into game 5. Tanake. Tanuki. Taking that personally. Comes in for another pick on the front line and Ducky is dead once again. Groot is not having a good time. And I have to wonder a little bit here. While metas might be a bit different, why aren't we looking at a different tank than Groot? Groot can be solid, of course, in this scenario, and he also sets up for Newton, but the Thing would be wonderful for this Wolverine. The Thing gives you damage reduction, can help out your teammates that are in trouble, and also cannot be moved by Wolverine. Because right now, Tanuki is a problem. Look at this! I love this! I think we found the new Hugh Jackman of Marvel Rivals. We don't need Hugh anymore. We just have Tanuki. He can be Wolverine. Disney's gonna be so happy. I'm gonna write him an email after this. Please don't sue me, Disney, for saying your name. Please. I can't afford that. Well, 30 seconds left over for Zero Tenacity, and they need to make it over halfway through this objective. They have yet to move. They've been stuck on this little L corner here. Now, they do have big ults for it. They go straight in for Wolverine. He's able to dash away. Smash Nez helping out. Getting the tentacles down. They start to shell away. Big damage coming in. No one's fallen off yet. Smash waiting for Groot. Ult is almost there. 85%. Cloak and Dagger popping her ult. But so does Alex. Healing all over the place. Massive whale coming in. Locking down 1. But Tanuki gets healed up. Here comes Newton. Looking for any reset he can get. And he just can't find it. PKY finally does get a pick off though. And Zero Tenacity is going to be shut down here on point number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a game number 5 between Zero Tenacity and BRRBRR Patapim. Wow.
2-2.
Bro, what the hell, dude? What the hell? It seemed like Zero Tenacity just ran out of tenacity. And welcome back to game number 5. We are all tied up between BRRBRR Patapim and Zero Tenacity 2-2. And I gotta say, for not really knowing these two teams coming into game number 5, I'm a fan. I do feel like BRRBRR Patapim and their style is starting to wear down Zero Tenacity a little bit. They seem to be honestly losing some tenacity as they go through, which is very apt for their name. And I wonder if they're going to be able to pull it together here for game number 5, or if BRRBRR Patapim is going to continue this momentum. I know a lot of sports and a lot of teams and a lot of esports even talk about momentum and how important it is. And it's not something to really be taken lightly. Whenever you're able to switch into that high gear and get into the zone, it is something that is very hard to break for the opposing team, and BRRBRR Patapim seems to have that in spades right now. I will say also, Tanuki was able to pop off dramatically so compared to what we've been seeing from the first couple of games. His Wolverine has been very impactful, and I do wonder if we're going to find it getting banned in this match. For now, though, the bans do look very similar. We have a Captain America being taken away by Zero Tenacity, preventing BRRBRR Patapim from running it in the future. Emma Frost will be taken out for BRRBRR Patapim, so Zero Tenacity will not be able to pick it up. But Zero Tenacity doesn't seem to care. They haven't really prioritized that Emma Frost. They could have had it earlier or protected it, and they seem to care about having their Loki, and they'll just make whatever tanks work. And to be quite fair, their Hulk has been pretty solid. The only criticism I would have is that they did stick with Group maybe a little too much last game, which was getting dismantled by the Wolverine. So I would like to see them maybe bring out another tank. I brought up the Thing as an option if Wolverine does pop up. Now, Zero Tenacity will not be able to play their Adam Warlock, who is a main staple in their first couple of matches. And over into BRRBRR Patapim, no Luna Snow, Loki, Captain America, or Magneto. They did protect their Psylocke, which was a pretty beneficial pickup for them in a previous match, although we did see PKY doing well on the Punisher earlier. Tanuki now hovering the Human Torch, and I don't think we've seen him play that character yet. He was playing a lot of Star-Lord, a lot of Wolverine, so I would love to see how this goes. And you can kind of see how, like, we've gone from Game 1 to Game 5 and how quickly the meta has changed and how things have really erupted into these different compositions and why certain things have really started to jump out. The Star-Lord was a little bit too squished and it was getting focused down a bit too much for my taste. And now we're getting a little bit more of Wolverine, which is, you know, a little bit more hardy, a little bit more impactful on the front line. If you break down the front line, it makes it easier for it to push. And now we have the Human Torch, which in my opinion is probably one of the better DPSs in the game. Probably right behind Punisher. So, let's go into game number 5. I'd never seen that demon swinging. I missed that detail completely. Look how happy he is. Wow, what a great shot. Dude, good shot. Zooming out and catching the Hulk jumping forward. Immediate portal coming in from Zero Tenacity. They want to grab the lead. And I would say the trend works for them here. Every time that they've had a lead on the objective, they've been able to pull out the map. So let's see if they can do it here on Domination. BRRBRR Patapim and their style can sometimes struggle when a team is anchored in or, you know, latches into an area. Poly trying to build up their primary attack, but not being given the option. Zero Tenacity turns around and focuses Poly down quickly. And that's pretty much what you want to do. You want to try and get the opposing Emma Frost to pop their diamond form, and then go for some aggressive damage afterwards, right? Because the diamond form is probably her best state to play in. And Zero Tenacity was able to do just that. And now they grab the objective and start to build it up. Now, each time that they have had the objective, they've gotten to about 60 to 70%. They're willing to waste ultimates for it. They're willing to trade out lies for it. We'll see if they can do that here. Meanwhile, BRRBRR Patapim will have the monumental task of trying to take out the Human Torch. As you can see there, the moment he starts taking damage, he can dive to the floor. He's able to get some healing coming his way, and he also gets a shield in that dive too. PKY moving around here on the right side. I would like to see PKY being a little bit more deeper here. There's a couple of health packs on that right side in that building that you're looking at that can give Psylocke a lot more sustainability. But hang on, PKY is telling me to shut up, as he is able to clean up 3-4 members with the aid of his Emma Frost, and then the rest of the team got the other two. Zero Tenacity getting 48% on the objective. BRRBRR Patapim setting up to hold here. Now, BRRBRR Patapim has a couple of ultimates, 3. A 4th in the way, and 5th and 6th is right behind them. And Zero Tenacity is actually the same. In fact, they should get their ultimates first, all 6 of them. So far, both teams have been using their Cloak and Dagger as their main engagement. And there it is. Oasis steps up. Cloak and Dagger ultimate runs for the back line. Same comes out for Alex. They waited 2 seconds so they would have the upper hand in the final exchanges here. We actually have a pick that occurs on the Punisher, meaning a lot of the DPS is now gone for Zero Tenacity. Paulie trying to lock down this flyer up on the top side, can't quite get it, and here comes the Eye of Agamotto from Ducky. Landing on 2 here on the front line, and BRRBRR Patapim are able to find a couple of takedowns, looking for a potential 3rd, 4th. Zero Tenacity getting the Hulk here down too, as Enzo, low on HP, goes into Bruce Banner, and they are able to take away the point. So, BRRBRR Patapim is able to get 56% on the objective, about halfway there. Whoa, whoa. 50% here for Zero Tenacity as well. A lot of ultimates burned there. Look at that, dude. Everyone burned their ultimate in that fight. Wow. I thought it would go a lot worse as Newton got picked off, but Zero Tenacity was able to get a massive Ducky ultimate, which really helped out the team. Ducky already working on building up towards that ultimate once again, and his portal is already off cooldown, so we can use that if they get picked off again. So a great spot for Zero Tenacity. Good damage here from Ducky. Smash hanging right above him to make sure he can get pushed in too heavily. If anything were to move in and attempt to get on top of that Doctor Strange, Human Torch can move in and provide headshots. So that's why you're seeing Paulie not go for the diamond form and trying to force it. PKY doing a great job of stressing out the healers, but comes back to the front line and is low on HP. He needs a heal. Can he get it? He does. Tanuki trying to get the Punisher low, but Cloak and Dagger has pulled the trigger. They go forward and they want to try and win right here and right now. 99% on the board. Alex enters back. Ducky comes in for another ultimate. He has been incredibly clutch there. Finds a kill on Ken. Newton also gets picked though and did not use his ultimate. Meanwhile, Paulie says, all right, we got to stop this here. Steps up and goes in for a full engagement, trying to hit the diamonds on the targets there. Cloak and Dagger locked into a corner, and here comes the Dance of the Butterflies, trying to get whatever target they can. Gets the Captain America low on HP, but thanks to a Loki Rune Awakening, is able to heal up and not get picked off, and the Assemble has been shouted. Lugia charging forward here for Zero Tenacity, and Newton has finally came back, and it is time to unleash the beast. Shots flying out, and Zero Tenacity will grab the first objective in this best of 3 in domination. Just a bloodbath between these two teams. They seem to really have their numbers, but looking over to BRRBRR Patapim, their deaths seem to be coming at more instrumental times. Newton, I will admit, got a couple of unfortunate picks on his side, but his team was able to rally around, especially Ducky in particular. I gotta give Ducky the MVP. Ducky on Doctor Strange just walked forward and surprised our opponents multiple times, found a pick each time. The one where he was able to take out Ken, one of the important supports on the opposing side, was mwah, chef's kiss. Now, BRRBRR Patapim with the game on the line, if they lose this one, they are going to, of course, be taking the number 2 seed in the playoffs next week. And Zero Tenacity will be your winner, and it will have the number 1 seed. They actually are switching into a triple support composition with Ultron, which we're not getting too much. However, I will say it gets more value on this map in particular. There's a lot of space to play around for Ultron and a lot of cover around these giant shafts and pillars, so we can kind of dance around the shaft and be really useful for the entire match. Also, there's a beautiful pairing up of Human Torch and Ultron, which is a great combination. You just throw the dome on top of him and just let him heal, and you don't have to worry about him. He can find his own way out. Also, with the Invisible Woman, he provides the heals. Like, Tanuki is in a good spot. Ooh, did they find the kill there? Oh my gosh, they did. They interrupted Smash, who was in the middle of dropping down a few fire tornadoes, get the pick on him, which stops that in its track. Tanuki trying to stay alive, but finally gets picked off as well. Zero Tenacity has this knack, man, for losing one person, and then they're like, you know what? We're still going to win the fight. Here comes Ducky. Ducky the Mad Lad. I don't know how he does it, but every ultimate he hits connects. Finds another pick. BRRBRR Patapim even using a few ultimates there just to get a little bit more objective time, 24% to 9%, but Zero Tenacity is quickly climbing back. And they have a Punisher ultimate ready in the corner and good to go. BRRBRR Patapim gonna have to find a way in here. Enzo switching into his own Doctor Strange and has his own ultimate. Can he find a way to get in here? The major focus for them is gonna have to be Newton. If Newton is able to get off this ultimate, I can see a world where Zero Tenacity is going to take a massive lead. Newton steps up, just shoots straight into the abyss, does not care whatsoever. Aiming for the Dr. Strange, who flew up in the air. He was hoping to come down and get an ultimate, and he will not do so. Enzo is able to keep his Eye of Agamotto, but what cost? 45% to 24%, and Zero Tenacity is looking to run away with this game and get an early 2-0. BRRBRR Patapim pulling back. Do they have a portal? A portal would be nice. Trying to see Dr. Strange here on the map. I'm not sure if it's on cooldown or not. It's looking like it's not yet. Enzo may have elected to do one more push, and they can use the portal for a reinforcement. BRRBRR Patapim slowly advances. Zero Tenacity on the background here, dealing with the tornadoes that are currently being flown their way by Tanuki. One pick does occur. It will be on Ducky, so they have lost one of their frontline tanks. They lose a healer. They lose a DPS. 3 is now down here for Zero Tenacity. BRRBRR Patapim needs to make a decision. Do we want to use any more ultimates, or do we want to hold them for the entire win? Because remember, they have to win this map. They decide to use a good amount. 3 ultimates were used in that fight. There is 2 already built up, and a 3rd on the way from Ken, who has the Invisible Woman ultimate. A pretty massive one, to be quite fair. While Cloak and Dagger is already set up and good to go. Meanwhile, for Tenacity, they do have Lugia, who can lead the charge with Captain America, and Ducky, who's been money. Money with his ultimate. They need to find a way to disrupt him. Teleport comes through for all members, and they just run it down, straight to the point. Lugia pops his ultimate, avenging his teammates, bringing the shields up, running straight towards that Punisher. Teleport out, and an attempt to try and get out of the ultimates, and they do! Oh my gosh, so Zero Tenacity, realizing the desperation that BRRBRR Patapim is in, runs to the portal, forces them to ult, and then they leave! They leave and don't worry about it. They said, okay, we wasted an ultimate, we're good to go. And that's 1 support ultimate down at the cost of just showing up. Smart play by Zero Tenacity. BRRBRR Patapim currently at 74%, trying to hold it down. Fire tornadoes coming out from Smash, and as they go straight into the Invisible Woman's ult, they're trying to lock her down. Remember, that is a massive amount of damage, 200 damage per second. If they can get on top of her, they can stop that from happening, but Ken is able to stay alive. Meanwhile, though, Enzo and PKY get cleaned up, and Zero Tenacity are going to wipe all 5 here. So, I need to see Enzo. Enzo should be set up a portal right now. I need to see it. I need to see it. Is he doing it? Oh, we're about to find out. The portal's coming. Spider-Man's on the way to delay it. Spider-Man's trying to get it. Spider-Man gets it. The first Spider-Man play I've ever seen that was useful. Able to go for the objective and gets the overtime. Portal comes up and they just start shelling away. Newton here in a safe spot, just going straight for the damage. Locking down whoever is in the direction of his opponents. Ninzo is down, PKY, Pauly, Tanuki, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Zero Tenacity is able to grab a 2-0 and will win the series 3-2. Nicely done by them. Incredible series. And if you enjoyed today's cast, please let me know in the comments below. Trying to do more of these. Feel free to share them anywhere. I want Marvel Rivals Ignite to know that I am available, and I will go to lands. I will cast all these guys. It's so fun. Thanks for watching.